And there we go, we're recording. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad to have all of you with me here today for 3 powerful shifts to get what you'd really like to have in your life. I'm Dawn Meyer. For those of you who don't know me, I am the NASA rocket scientist turned reality shifter and shaker. So it's all about changing your reality up, moving into things that you didn't know you could have, things that you'd like to have and didn't know were possible. Yes, I really did work on the space shuttle program for over 25 years. And then I decided what would I like to be when I grew up? So I had to start looking at what that would be and what that would bring to me. And so I'm getting an echo here. Let's see if I can mute everybody. How about now? Is anybody else hearing an echo for me? Okay, now it sounds better. All right, so yeah, I started looking at what I'd like to be when I grow up, and I realized when I was a little girl I had always wanted to be either the first woman on the moon or somebody who could heal people with their hands. And so I started doing my second phase, which was healing people with my hands, because yes, I haven't been on the moon yet. However, there's still a possibility, you know, they're looking at going back to the moon, so I could still do it. Anyway, so it's about helping people to discover what it is that they would like to have in their lives that they think are impossible, so that they can start moving forward into that. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, is looking at the things that you'd really like to have in your life and what it is that's keeping you back. What's the secret to actually having those things show up? And we're going to be covering some of the tips for getting there, for letting go of your limitations, and really moving forward. And at the end, I'm going to have some special surprises, so make sure that you stay till the end. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing about creating what you'd like to have in your life is, do you really know what you want? And when I say that, people say, well, of course I know what I want. I always know what I want. But do you really? Do you really know what it is that you'd like to have in your life? What you'd like your life to be beyond like 1 or 2 things? Because most people, when you say, well, what do you want? They'll say something, oh, I want a new job or a bigger house or a new car or something like that. And is that really all that you want out of life? Once you get those, then what? When you're looking at what you'd like to have, what is it you really like to be doing? Who would you like to be doing it with? Where would you like to be? What happens so often is that the things that first pop into our head aren't necessarily the things that are going to make us happy. It might be a short-lived bout of happiness, but it doesn't necessarily last. They've done research at Yale University and the University of British Columbia and so forth that has shown that the things that we believe will make us happy don't actually work. We're often miswanting. We think that the things like lots of money and good grades and fast cars will make us happy. And yes, up to a point, it does make you happy once your basic needs are met. Then that happiness factor really starts to decline with those things. And you're always left wanting. You're always wanting that next thing that you think will make you happy. People are always saying things, you know, like if I could just catch a break, then I'd be happy. If I could just have this show up in my life, then I'd be happy. Everything will work out. If I only had XYZ, my life would be complete. And the thing is, when they actually get those things, it doesn't really necessarily make them happy. They're postponing their happiness until they can have all of those things. So are you postponing your happiness? Are you postponing it until you have all these different things in your life, that you won't allow yourself to be happy until you get that new job, or until you get that house on the other side of town, or until you get to move up into the mountains, or until you get the perfect person in your life? And what if you could allow yourself to start being happy now? To start looking at what would make you happy and not be wishy-washy about it. What is it that I would like to have? Not what can I allow myself to have, but what it is that you would really like to have in your life. You've got those experiences that are often what makes you happier. The things like being with other people, being kind to other people, having gratitude for what you have in your life, prioritizing your life to have things that are more satisfying for you, the things that will bring you more lasting happiness. Reprioritizing your life for that. They call that time affluence. So that's the idea that you give yourself the time to do the things you would really like to have, rather than trying to squeeze in 3 minutes here today to do a meditation, or 5 minutes here to go for a walk. To actually make time and actually spend that time on you. So start asking yourself, what do I really want? What is it that I would like to have that would make me happy? What has made me happy in the past? Who makes me happy? When have I been the happiest? And look at those things. Would you like to have more of that in your life, rather than constantly chasing the things that you think will make you happy? Anybody have any comments on that or questions? Cool. Well, again, sit down and start making that list of the things that would really make you happy. The things that you enjoy doing, the people you enjoy being with. Those are the ways to actually start getting what you want out of life, is to start appreciating what you have, to have gratitude for what you have, to have gratitude for what you've created, gratitude for the people who are in your life, and start looking at it that way, rather than always having that list of the things that you think will make you happy if you could only get there. So that's item number 1. Get clear on what you really want.
Hi, Dawn, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure I was on there. So, I guess what I was going to comment on was that I tend to be very happy in outer circumstances, but at my home is where I seem to have the trouble with
Okay.
With lasting.
Okay, and so what does that mean to you? You mean that you can't?
It means something's wrong. Something's not right.
Okay, let me clarify. What is it that, so you think that your happiness at home doesn't last? Is that what you mean?
I guess I'm feeling like it's impossible to attain. So that's it.
Okay, so where the places that you're looking at it being impossible, look at what it is you're trying to attain. Is it that you're trying to make everybody?
I think it's because yeah, exactly. Trying to please. or trying to find the right recipe. But this week, I've been thinking it's got to be something more like what I have in other spaces in my life, which is more like that, just like you said, appreciating where I'm at, and doing the best. I don't know, maybe doing the best with it that I can. I don't really know how to put it into words, but I've been seeing a possibility of what needs to change within me to help get to a better place.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Well, look, what is it that you believe you need to have at home in order to be happy?
Um, just, I guess, be myself without judgment.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm the one judging myself even, but
And,
it seems to be coming from my family that I feel judged. But is it me judging me? I don't know.
and sometimes that's what it is that we're either taking on everybody else's judgments of us or we're judging us, or both.
Yeah, or both. Hmm.
And so when you start looking at that, I have a tool that I usually teach people is the return to sender.
Oh yeah.
And to take all that energy that people are projecting at you
Hmm.
and let it go and return it back out into the universe
Okay.
rather than
Yeah.
carrying it. And then when you start
Yeah.
judging you, ask, is this really mine or is it somebody else's that I'm picking up on?
True. That
And
that makes sense.
be able to do the same thing with it. Because a lot of times we do that too, is that we start judging ourselves based on what we're picking up that other people are judging about them, or that they're judging about us, or they're judging about somebody else.
Yeah, it does feel like that projection type kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So look at all those projections that you have and start returning those to sender
Okay,
as well.
that sounds good.
Yeah, because you can get yourself out from under all of that energy that everybody else is piling on you
Hmm.
and that you're piling on
Yeah,
yourself.
true. It's not mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I don't want it anyway, even if it is
Well,
mine.
and that's just it.
So,
You don't need to
thank
keep
you.
carrying it, so you can let
Yeah,
it go.
that's practical.
Yeah. So that's a really good
Okay.
technique to use especially when you start feeling that you're buried under other people's energy or under a lot of judgment, is to start letting it go and returning it to sender so
Okay.
that you
Thank
don't
you.
keep carrying it.
Yep. I just yesterday I thought of that. It's been forever since I thought of the return to sender, and I just told somebody the same thing. So,
See, you were advising
yep,
yourself.
yep. That was for me too.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Would you suggest that for a work situation as well, Bianca says. Um, yes, I would. Because a lot of times we also take on a lot of what's going on at work and from the other people around us at work too, because people so often are trying to please each other at work too, and they're trying to please the boss, and they've got all these expectations of what should be going on. And then if you fall a little short, now you start judging yourself, or you think everybody else is judging you. And again, all that energy starts piling on top of you. So you can take all of those things from work that people are projecting at you and expecting from you and that are judging you, and again, return that to sender as well and let it go. Did you? I can't hear you, Bianca. Are you? Let's see if I can unmute you. It says you're unmuted, but I'm not hearing you.
Put a mic on. Let me put a mic on. That sounds about right. That sounds correct. I mean, I'm looking at a situation where I'm on sick leave and I might have to go back to work soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, it was a toxic environment, so what else is possible here? Because I don't want to recreate what I created last time.
Yeah. So again, start looking at that and what it is that's going on there. Are those things that are at your work situation, are they really yours or are they someone else's? Be willing to start returning them to sender, the ones that aren't yours. And
Yeah, I did
so,
a lot of healing as well from the
mm-hmm,
situation, and I realized it was a lesson I had to go through because I was taking on too much. I was taking on everybody else's, all my employees. I was trying to protect them from politics that happen at work.
mm-hmm,
And it's really not my job. It
right.
really isn't. So I have to step back and let them deal with it because they chose that situation as well, and then take my place and not more.
Yeah. And when you're looking at, you can certainly be there to support them, and assist them, but it's not your job to do their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm actually looking at starting a business, so I would consider going back and then just not putting myself so much in the job and looking at starting more of a concentrating on more of a spiritual type business. And I do access bars as well.
Mm-hmm.
So concentrating more on that and having a revenue from somewhere else so I can eventually quit that job.
Yeah. And so just keep asking those things to show up. Who would like to come to get bars sessions from you or bars
Mhm.
classes from you, whichever one it is that you do. And just keep, destroying and uncreating all the stuff that they're sending at you, all the projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments, and all the conclusions that you have about what the job has to be, and ask the job to start being something that actually supports you.
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And yeah, some of that is a lot of access consciousness stuff. There's the access consciousness clearing statement. So, and that's the destroy and uncreate. So you could take everything that's going on at work or everything that's going on at home that's really weighing me down. I destroy and uncreate it all and return it to sender with consciousness attached. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And again, that's the access consciousness clearing statement. And you can find more about it at theclearingstatement.com and find
Thank
out
you.
all the pieces for those of you who've never heard one before.
Yeah, I've done it since 2012. I really, really love it.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing tool.
Yeah.
And so is the return to sender an amazing tool. So
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
eventually want to get to facilitator, but I'm still stuck at bars facilitator.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Well, I had to accept to get clients, and that's the thing. I wasn't accepting that. I was just trying to finance it on just having a job. But I realized that if I want to be a like a facilitator more than a bars facilitator, I really got to get involved more and have more clients and practice more the bars itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even just having more bars classes or more bars exchanges gets you exposed to more people too.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. So once you've gotten clear on what you really want, now the next thing is, do you believe that you deserve to have what you desire? And everybody says, well, of course I deserve it. But do you really believe that? Because a lot of times we think we have to earn it. So do you believe you have to earn what you want? That you have to make sacrifices? That you have to fight for it? That you have to be worthy of it and prove to everybody else that you're worthy of it? A lot of times we have that, like we talked about, the perpetual people pleaser thing, where you think you've got to make everybody else happy before you can have your happiness before you can have the things that you would like to have in your life. And is that true? Because again, now you're putting everybody else first, which of course makes you last. And how does that work out in your life? Are you trying to spend all of your time doing things for everybody else, doing their job, making their life easier, creating the life that they would like to have, rather than creating the life that you would like to have? And do you believe that you can't have any of that stuff until you've made everybody else happy? Because again, is that what it is that you would like to have in your life? How often have we been taught that it's better to give than receive? That it's better that we serve everybody else and not put ourselves first because that's selfish. That makes us a bad person. And is that true? No. You can still deserve all that stuff. I mean, do you have to earn the air that you breathe? No, it's just there. It's just what life is. It's the things that are yours simply because you are alive. So you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have the things that you would like to have in your life. How often have you told yourself, oh, well, I can't have that because I don't have what it takes to get it. I'm not even going to think about having that because XYZ. One of the things that I tell people is that when I was looking at moving to Florida, right after I got out of college, I came down here on Christmas break. My in-laws at the time, they are no longer my in-laws, but from my first marriage, they were living here. And I saw this ad for a job at the Space Center in the newspaper. And I wasn't going to apply because I didn't think I had what it took to have that job. And they looked at me and they said, you've got to be kidding. What have you got to lose? Even if you don't get the job, you still have your other job back in Indiana. So what is it that you're not allowing yourself to have because you think you don't deserve it? You think you don't qualify. You think that you don't have what it takes to have that. And I realized, yeah, what did I have to lose? And as it turned out, I went ahead and applied and I got the job. But again, even if I hadn't gotten it, simply telling myself that I didn't have what it took to get that was what was holding me back from having what I wanted. And had somebody not said, what have you got to lose? Do what it is that you'd like to have and go for it, I wouldn't be down in Florida now. I wouldn't have worked on the space shuttle for 28 years. So start looking at that. Are you making yourself have certain qualifications first before you allow yourself to be happy? Before you allow yourself to have what it is that you would like in your life? Again, are you postponing your happiness until you reach certain qualifications? Are you putting restrictions on your happiness because of whatever? So start looking at that. What is it that you believe you can't have, and why do you believe you can't have it? And start letting go of those whys. The why is just that constant loop that keeps you going back on it and back on it and back on it. Instead of saying, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to choose what works for me, and I deserve to be happy. So that's number 2. Do you believe that you deserve to have what you desire? And the answer is yes, you deserve to have what you desire. And the number 3 shift is to stop focusing on what you don't have. Because when you keep focusing on what you don't have, that's what you keep creating is what you don't have. That's how you're creating those patterns. Because you keep saying, oh, I don't have this, and I can't have that. And nothing's ever going to change. So again, that's what you're creating. Nothing is ever going to change. You believe that you have to only focus on the things that you don't have. My mother-in-law, she used to have a sign on her door over her refrigerator that said, how did I get so far from my dreams? And that's all she ever focused on was the things that she didn't have. And she was a very unhappy person because all she could ever see were the things that didn't work out, the things that she didn't have, the things that didn't come into her life. She never really appreciated what she did have and all the things that she had created. It was always about what didn't work out and about continually creating that. And even if something did work out, she always dismissed it. It's like, oh yeah, but I wanted this. Okay. It's kind of like when somebody gives you a car and they give you a blue one and you said you wanted a blue-green one. Well, they gave you a blue car. Oh, I wanted the blue-green one. So you've totally discounted what it is that you did receive because it wasn't exactly that thing that you had decided you wanted to have in your life. It didn't exactly match what it is that you were looking for. And that's how a lot of things are in our lives. We've decided how this needs to show up, when it needs to show up, what it needs to look like, and all of these specifics. And then if it's slightly off, if it's slightly different than all of those specifics, we think we didn't get it. Instead of realizing that it's really close, and we should be appreciative of what we did get, instead of discounting it completely because it was the wrong shade of blue, or it was slightly smaller than the one that you asked for. So realize that sometimes when you've narrowed the things down to exactly how it has to show up and you're trying to force it to be a particular way or force it to show up in your life a particular way, that you're not allowing those other things that could show up to actually show up. Or if they are showing up, you're not recognizing it because it doesn't match what you've decided it has to be. So stop focusing on what it is that you don't have and start having more appreciation for what you do. And realize, look at the things that are showing up in your life and are they close to what you've asked for so that you really did get them. You just don't think you did because they aren't exactly what you said you wanted to have. And sometimes we think that if they don't show up exactly that way, that means we've failed. So now we're judging ourselves as a failure because we got the wrong shade of blue car instead of realizing, hey, we got a car. So when you're looking at how to improve the things in your life, gratitude is another, again, big thing, is to appreciate what you have and appreciate the way it's showing up. And so start asking for those things to show up. What other possibilities are here? What other choices do I have here? What possibilities could show up? What would like to show up today that would assist me to do what it is I would like to do and have what I would like to have? Questions are huge when it comes to creating what you would like to have in your life. So you can start asking more questions. Start being that invitation, because when you ask a question, you are the invitation for those things to start showing up in your life. You're inviting change into your life. You're inviting new things. You're saying that you're open to something different in your life instead of focusing on what didn't work and what you don't have. So again, great questions to ask are things like, what else would like to show up? What other choices and possibilities do I have here? What have I not considered that if I would consider doing that or being that would change what's going on? Who would like to be part of my life? What would like to be part of my life? What could I do different here that would change what's going on? And not necessarily differently, but something completely different. So, anybody have any questions up to now? Okay. So again, the 3 shifts that you can start making to get what it is you would like to have in your life is to get clear on what you really want and what makes you happy. To realize that you deserve to have the things that you would like to have, that you don't have to make so many sacrifices and put yourself last in order to get it. You can simply ask for what it is that you would like to have. And to stop focusing on the things that you don't have and start being grateful for what you do. Because when you can really start having that and really start seeing what's showing up in your life, you can realize how much of your life is actually working, even though you thought it wasn't. Well, folks, I said that I would share some surprises with you. So let me share my screen here. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. So hopefully you can see my screen without a whole bunch of stuff in the way. One of the things I wanted to share with you is a program that I did live in February, and now I'm doing it online so that those of you who aren't in Florida can come. It's called Reboot Your Boundaries and Relationships. I call it the step-by-step recovery system for perpetual people pleasers, relationship rescuers, and family fixers. It's going to be done in 4 parts on Zoom. And it's for people who are stressed out, who are maybe having some relationship boundaries in their families, in their job, with the people that they work with, in their personal relationships and professional relationships. And it's about creating what you would like to have and start having something that actually serves your needs and your desires. And I'm going to be doing it, like I said, in 4 parts, June 20th, 27th, July 5th, and July 11th. That's going to be Eastern time on Zoom. And of course, there will be replays. You're going to learn how to transform your current and future relationships at a completely new level. You're going to be setting boundaries and reshape your relationships in record time. So it's about changing how you're showing up in your life. It's to stop living at the mercy of everyone else's schedules and rules. Stop letting life pass you by because you're so busy taking care of everyone else that you can't take care of you. And it's making the self-care of you a priority so that you can have time for what you desire in your life. And you can start living your life more on your terms. So you can continue being a servant to everyone else, or you can create a life that works for you. You can support and assist others, kind of like we talked about with Bianca, versus carrying their burdens and submitting to their demands. Because you can still do that without being under their thumb all the time. You can learn to set healthy boundaries and release stress and get out from everybody else's burdens and stop putting you last and everybody else first. And if you register now, the bonuses that I promised you, you'll get a free deep relaxation meditation recording and probably a few other surprises there. And we're going to be doing an extra pre-event preparation call that'll be on Zoom as well, so that you can get prepared to get the most out of what it is that we're going to be doing. And you can register at iampurpledawn.com/reboot-relationships. The value is over $397. The regular price is $297, but for those of you who are on today, the early bird is $147, plus you get the bonuses. And again, you register at iampurpledawn.com/reboot-relationships. And you'll start getting out from under all that stuff that you've created in your relationships that isn't really working for you. Like I said, we'll be doing it in 4 parts. You'll be getting, being able to interact and ask questions. If you can't be on it live all the time, you can send in the questions. And it'll really start changing how you're showing up in on all your relationships. So, any questions for anybody, from anybody? No? No questions? Okay. Well, I've got I'm pasting the link to register in the chat, and it'll be in your recording as well. And, you know, what I really want is for you to realize how much control and how many choices you really have in creating your life. And realize that you don't have to live that life that everybody else is telling you you have to live. You can start creating one that works for you. Whether it's at home or at work or both, you can start choosing what it is that you would like to have and how you would like to show up, because that's the one thing you can always use. Or am I going to use Access tools and other tools? I will probably use a little bit of everything. I always try to use whatever it is that works best with whoever shows up. So I will be teaching you some of the other Access tools. I'll be doing probably some clearing statements, and then I use other tools as well, because it's about being able to shift however it is that works best for you. So yeah, some of the other Access tools, like what else is possible here. That's another great one when you're looking at when you're trying to change things in your life, is what else is possible here? What else could show up? What other choices do I have here? What other possibilities do I have here? Questions, again, are huge. Anytime you start asking questions, that simply opens all sorts of doors for you so that you can have more of an expansive relationship with whatever it is that's going on. And it invites more doors to open up. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, well, if you think of anything later, you can always email me via the link that you'll be receiving this recording from, and we can talk about what else you require and what else we could do together. So thanks everybody for joining me today, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.